me just get started. So here's the schedule for today. Introductory presentation, then we'll have Q&A and breakout. We'll talk about what assessors are looking for, the application process, and you'll have the chance to meet some of our current students. The formal presentations will be recorded and we'll share them online, but we'll not record the Q&A sessions. So the Interdisciplinary Life and Environmental Science Landscape Award, or ILESLA, is a new 4-year doctoral program, although part-time study is also possible, which makes for a longer period of study. It's funded by 2 of the UK research councils called BBSSC and NERC, which are the Biotechnology and Biological Sciences Research Council and the Natural Environment Research Council. So their research interests determine the research interests of the program. We're anticipating that we'll be admitting in the range of sort of 55 to 60 students, possibly more every year. And of those students, about 25%, 15 or more, are likely to be undertaking projects in collaboration with industry and non-academic partners. And we'll talk more about that during this presentation. So the programme has a physical home here in Oxford. It's called the Doctoral Training Centre. It's located on sort of road in Oxford called Keble Road. The Doctoral Training Centre in its various incarnations has existed since 2002. So although this is a new programme, it builds on a great deal of experience built up in the context of previous programmes. So I wanted to give you a brief introduction to the Doctoral Training Centre. As I said, the very first programme, Life Science Interface, was founded in 2002. And that really sort of set the stage for the programs we're running now, looking at the benefits of cohort-based training and thinking about how we can bring students together from different disciplinary backgrounds to make advances in different areas of science. Since then, we've had around 11 programs with 8 different universities and institutions, about 70 non-academic partners, and we've admitted well over 1,000 students and nearly 1,000 have graduated. So the key kind of preceding programs for this program are our Systems Approaches to Biomedical Sciences Industrial Doctor Program, which has sort of established models for working with industry that we're building on in this program. The BBSSC DTP, which was founded in 2012, and then sort of expanded to include many of our current partner organizations. The NERC DTP, which was founded in 2014 and joined the DTC in 2020. And then these programs have come together really to form the new Life and Environmental Science program from 2025 onwards. And we've included additional partners at this stage, particularly including the Open University as a new university partner, as well as collaborative partners and our industrial partners. So I wanted to explain a bit about all of these different types of partners and what their relationship is to the program. So there are 6 hosting partners, and the way to think about these is these are academic partners. This is not industry. We have 3 universities, Oxford, Oxford Brookes, and the Open University. We have 3 centres for research in the form of the Pirbright Institute and sort of 2 national facilities, Diamond Light Source and ICIS Neutron and Muon Source. And all of the researchers across these 6 organisations can be the primary supervisors of doctoral projects in our new programme. And students can be admitted to the programme via any of the 3 universities. And then they work with a supervisory team that includes a supervisor at their registered university. So if you're admitted to the University of Oxford, you're going to have a supervisor at Oxford. If you're admitted to the Open University, you're going to have a supervisor at the Open University. So we are very broad in terms of our remit because we cover the full remit of the BBSRC and the NERC. So we've structured this into 5 overarching research themes, but we recognise that many students and supervisors have interests that cross 2 or 4 of these themes. So the broad themes for the programme are climate and earth, biodiversity and sustainability, animal and human health, rules of life, and transformative technologies. But within each of these themes, we have sort of say a wide range of different research areas. So we encourage you to visit the website to learn more about the full scope of the sort of the different research areas that we cover that might not be immediately evident if you just look at the theme title. But our remit is understanding the environment and the organisms within it, and understanding biological organisms, and understanding how that knowledge can be applied in areas like industry and agriculture. What we don't typically cover is when we get into more clinical practice. So there is a medical research council that covers medical research, and when we don't cover those areas, we focus on more fundamental understanding and certain applied areas. So why might you particularly want to come and do work with us and do a DPhil or PhD at the University of Oxford's Doctoral Training Centre? It's worth learning a bit more about the DTC, as in some ways, we're quite unique in the way that we approach our training. And all of this is grounded in the fact that 21st century science is really collaborative, and it's really interdisciplinary. That if we want to understand the functions of the brain, we're going to not only need biologists nowadays, but we need engineers, we need chemists to develop chemical probes, we need mathematicians and computer scientists to help interpret the data that we're gathering. So we need people who can work across disciplines and people who have interdisciplinary skills. And that's true whether you're studying agricultural pests or climate systems, or trying to, for example, look at the effect of climate systems on different organisms. So all of that requires people who can work across different disciplines. And this interdisciplinary approach is going to be critical for tackling many of the different challenges that we're facing in society. Say everything from climate change to antimicrobial resistance to food security. And that's best done as a team rather than as an individual. We also work closely with industry. We know that for many years, and increasing importance every year, as the industry is looking to hire postdocs and experienced researchers who have not only subject area skills, but also have data skills and computational skills. So you'll see that those data skills and computational skills and quantitative skills are really central to the research that we provide. And finally, if we are thinking to the future, and very much a PhD is a stepping stone to the future of your career, we need to think about what happens during a PhD to help you become a more employable researcher. There are many things that you develop in terms of your skills and your approaches that are greatly valued in academia and in many different sectors. Things like critical thinking and analysis skills, problem solving, project management, team and leadership skills. One of the bits of feedback we get from industry is they would like us to have more focus on team skills as skills that are really valued in industry. And in many ways, it's these other skills that become really central when you go on beyond your PhD. Some students will go on to use their specific academic knowledge in the future, but some will change disciplines, some will go into a wide range of different areas. And that flexibility and adaptability and ability to learn is really critical. So our priorities as a centre and as a programme is developing a programme that will not only support scientific breakthroughs, but also allows the students within it to develop new skills and engage in interdisciplinary collaborations, to do projects that underpin industrial innovation and entrepreneurship, and in the context of that, recognise the wealth of experience and creativity that diversity brings to research, and do everything we can to support equity, equality, diversity, inclusion, and the well-being of our students within our community. So I wanted to briefly introduce the different partner organisations. Some of them you may be more familiar with than others. So the programme's led by the University of Oxford, and in Oxford, it's not what you might call a campus university. It's very much integrated within the city and the broader community. And science in particular is spread across multiple sites within the city. And you can see from this map that it's a very green city with lots of parks and beautiful buildings within it. But at the heart of it, we have the science and this community of researchers across a wide range of different disciplines. What you might be less familiar with is that somewhat recently, Oxford made a shift in its demographics, that we are now a university that is a majority postgraduate university. We have a lot of undergraduates, and that's often what people know about the university, but we have a very large, a very diverse and international postgraduate community. And because our remit is so broad, interests can span all of the different departments sort of that we've listed here and on our website. And then we have Oxford Brookes University. So the Oxford Brookes University is here in Oxford. You can see it sits at the center of this map that I put up here. And here, Oxford Brookes University, it's a very forward-thinking and innovative university where our interests particularly intersect with the Department of Biological and Medical Sciences that does research into animals, plants, and microbes, has extensive expertise in areas such as bioimaging or genomics or nutrition and health. And a lot of academics that are within our partnership will already work closely together. Then we have the Pirbright Institute. This is a world-leading centre of excellence in the research and surveillance of viral diseases of livestock and viruses that spread from animals to humans. It's a centre of investment in tackling, sort of say, future pandemics. Researchers at the Pirbright Institute work very closely, particularly with researchers at Oxford, in the Jenner Institute, which works on the development of vaccines for human and veterinary diseases. As you might expect for a centre of research into viruses that need high containment, it isn't in the centre of a city. It has a more sort of rural location, but it has some amazing research and researchers that can be done in partnership with many of the different partners within the partnership. And then we have the Harwell Science and Innovation Campus. This is just down the road from Oxford, heading in the direction of Pirbright. And within Oxford, we're particularly partnered as our sort of what we call our hosting partners with Diamond Light Source, which uses light to explore all sorts of different systems, particularly known for work on structural biology, but many different aspects in bioimaging and spectroscopy in sort of the Earth and sort of physical and climate sciences as well. And then we also have ISIS Neutron and Muon source that uses neutrons to interrogate the properties of materials and systems. And again, lots of applications, say, in the earth sciences and in biology areas like biosurfactants or biopolymers or membranes and protein membrane interactions. And there is a very regular shuttle bus service that will take you directly between the centre of Oxford and the Harwell campus, which also includes a number of other facilities and institutes that we collaborate with, which are listed on our website, such as the Central Laser Facility, the Rosalind Franklin Institute, RAL Space, ESA, and the Research Complex at Harwell. And then our most recent sort of hosting partner is the Open University, which has a really diverse community of postgraduate research students doing PhD and professional doctorate projects. Their main campus is in Milton Keynes, and their interests in relation to the work that we do spreads across sort of 3 schools in environment, earth and ecosystem sciences, life, health and chemical sciences, and the School of Mathematics and Statistics. And we have representatives from the Open University here today. So I mentioned that partnerships with industry are really important to us. And we have quite a distinctive model for our engagement with industry, which is our Open Innovation Industrial Consortium, which we call Open2C. And this is based on a very successful model that we established with a previous DTC program called the SABS program. So here, rather than just having industry projects that are built up on a sort of a one-by-one sort of project basis, we've built a consortium of industry partners who are committed to supporting students in the program. They've signed up to be partners for the program, and the supervisors can work with these partners to offer rotation and doctoral projects. And the IP within these projects is covered by what's called an open innovation agreement, which means that unlike some industry projects, students in the program can actually talk to each other about what they're doing even though, say, the partners retain sort of, say, the first sort of interest in the IP that's being generated. And all students who engage with the Open Innovation Consortium undertake a 12-week internship, sometimes more, with their Open 2C partner, and they get a further stipend uplift in years 2 to 4. So we have a wide range of partners in the consortium already, but we have new partners coming along, including partners we're in the process of talking to that we haven't added to the website yet. So this is going to keep building up, and we encourage you, if you're applying to the program, to let us know if you are particularly excited about the prospect of working with industry partners, looking at those we have online, but also thinking there may be other partners coming along in the future that we haven't listed yet. And then we have an additional category of partners, which are sort of, say, less industry and more public and third sector partners. We call these collaborative partners, and they include some of those partners that I mentioned on the Harwell campus, and they include sort of partners such as the Met Office and the National Oceanography Centre, the Natural History Museum in London, and the Zoological Society and Institute of Zoology. So this also enriches the range of projects that we can offer in collaboration with these different organisations. So that's the partnership. I'll say a few words about the training programme. So our programme is designed to build up a community of students working together and to allow them to develop in a tailored way the advanced skills that they need to progress in their research. So we start with a period of training, then students undertake sort of 2 10-week research projects to go deeper into areas that may interest them. They then undertake a 3-year doctoral project, and there's an ongoing program of career development that includes an internship or industrial placement. So if you were to join the program, your first year in the program would look something like this. There would be a really sort of extensive induction period where you would meet the other students in the program and the potential supervisors and learn more about the different organizations and areas of research. So this means that in practice, you don't have to have a very fixed idea of what you want to do before you start. Indeed, we actually encourage you to come with an open mind to learn about all the different opportunities that might be open to you from the different projects that are offered. Following the induction, we have a period of what we call core skills training, which covers some of the areas I've been talking about, which is sort of streamed and tailored for individual students in, for example, computational, mathematical, statistical, or subject area skills. And during that time, students are talking to prospective supervisors about what they might want to do and evolving the ideas for what will become their rotation projects. After Christmas, as we normally start in September, October, then you do your 2 rotations. Each is a self-contained project with a write-up at the end. And having done the 2 rotations, that's the point you sit down with your supervisory team to plan out your 3-year project and to write a project proposal for that project, which you get feedback on from the program. So you get off to a really good start. Also, during the first year, we have some team-based exercises. We have an exercise we call Grand Challenges, which is thinking about the challenges facing us in science, and we have a team-based project. So you'll also be continuing to interact with members of your cohort to develop your skills beyond that initial core training period. So this core training, real focus on computational data analysis skills. We don't necessarily just sit you down and talk at you. Our approach to learning is very experiential. You'll mostly be doing rather than, say, being talked at. But we try and tailor our courses so that you can progress from where you start, because we have students coming in from so many different disciplines with so much different sort of prior experience. You're not going to be assessed on some absolute standard. You're going to be sort of given feedback on how are you progressing from where you started. And if people are engaging that sort of and learning, that's really what we want. We try and put the training that we do in the context of the research that we do, and we use it also to support students in developing communication and collaboration skills. So that core training period that we ran sort of say in the last year looked something like this, focusing on areas like programming and maths and software engineering, advanced skills in areas like sort of bioinformatics or MATLAB or learning about the Earth system. But we're currently going through a process of reviewing and revisiting our sort of module structure and how we're going to do things for 2025. So it's not necessarily going to look like this in 2025. It might have similar elements, but I wanted to give you an idea of what that initial training period might look like. So I mentioned that all the students in the first year undertake a team project. This will typically build on the skills that you're developing in that first term. So it might involve software development or data analysis or consultancy. And often these team projects will be co-supervised by one of the collaborative partners or one of the Open2C partners. So they're really grounded in real world challenges and data. And we're conscious that even sort of say within our training program, we can't necessarily offer all the training that students need. And it might be that we only have 1 or 2 students who would benefit from a specific area of training, but across the country, there may be 20 students who would benefit from a particular area of training. So one thing I'm really excited about for this new generation of programs is that as we were sort of bidding for our new funding, we had conversations between the different programs about what we could do to address that. So we actually are part of a network of training programs right across the country, from the southwest up to Scotland, that are going to be talking and collaborating to deliver, say, more specialized and advanced sort of training opportunities for specific groups of students, which we call the Doctoral Landscape Training Network. So after the initial training period, that's when you get into your rotation project. I want to give you an idea of the timeline for this. Typically, we ask the supervisors to give us their project ideas in April or May, so in a few months' time, and we ask them to give us their ideas sort of over the summer. This means that the projects that you'll be offered in September, October, they'll be the freshest, most up-to-date ideas those supervisors have. They won't be projects that they were thinking about 18 months ago. They'll be projects that they're thinking about now. And you'll be given access to a list of the eligible supervisors and the projects as part of the induction process. When you're looking at the project, you need to bear in mind that eventually you'll need to have a primary supervisor from the partner university that you're registered at, and that all the projects that you do will have to be in BBSRC or any RC remit. And we'll be signposting that when we put the programs out. Are they industry projects? Are they BBSC projects? Are they NERC projects? You'll have lots of opportunities to meet with the supervisors, to visit the different partner organizations. You'll be asked to choose your first project by the end of November and the second project by the end of February, because we know that your experience of that first project will inform the choice of the second project that you go into. And you choose your doctoral project and your sort of by the and supervisory team by June. You're not limited to the projects that the supervisors put forward. You can go and have a conversation with those supervisors to say, well, I like this project, but I'd be even more interested in doing something else. So you can sort of say develop a new and different project at either the rotation project stage or the main doctoral project stage. But we will have to sort of say, make sure that we have sort of the opportunity to approve all projects that go forward. And this is particularly true when we think about the project sort of that you do for your substantive project. So having finished your rotations during the first 6 sort of working weeks of your doctoral project, you write in your own words a research proposal for what you're going to do in consultation with your supervisory team. And then you get feedback from 2 of our supervisors about that project, who also help us check that it fits within our remit, and they give you feedback that's really useful at the start of your research. And then that's where we make our final sort of decision on the sort of the suitability and feasibility of the project, and offer guidance to students on how to go forward. Amongst the projects that we encourage, we particularly sort of encourage projects that have translational or commercial potential. Some of those projects may be in partnership with industry, but some of them may also be projects that could lead to a business opportunity, to a company, to something that can be licensed to industry. And one of the big things we've seen with our students in recent years is an increasing number of studentships who are already entrepreneurial or want to be entrepreneurial, want to develop business skills. So we definitely will be offering specific training and support in entrepreneurship and business skills to help you sort of say develop the skills and develop the ideas and applications that might be developing through your research. You benefit from a really strong alumni network, including many of our former students who've actually gone on to establish and found companies. And where relevant, you can use your 12-week internship for commercialization activities with suitable mentorship and support. And that's only one, though, sort of form of the kind of internships that you can do. All of our students undertake a 12-week internship or placement. For the Open 2C projects, that's with their partner organization. And as I've said, the entrepreneurial students can work on translation, but there's a really wide range of other internship options out there. That could be everything from conservation, or education, or media, or policy, or public sector, everything that will help you learn about future career opportunities and how the skills that you're developing can be sort of applied in a wider context. So there's an awful lot of different opportunities that you can take advantage of, and we can advise you based on the many previous internships that our students have done. So after lunch, we're going to talk a bit more about admissions. So I'm only going to mention it really briefly here. The deadline is going to be January 29th. For Oxford, that will be 12 noon on January 29th. And it's really important that you get your application in by this deadline if you want to be considered for funding. You can apply by any of the universities, but the application process is the same for every single university in terms of the content of the application. Some of you may also wish to apply to other departments or programs at Oxford. If you do so, you can do so by paying a sort of a single application fee for up to 3 applications that are relevant if they're in sort of what we call the MPLS division or the Medical Sciences division. If you're interested in also applying for the DPhil in Geography and Environment or in Archaeological Science, you can also apply to them and us. And sort of certain applicants, we shall talk more about this afternoon, can request a fee waiver. This is just for this year. Next year, we're going to be moving the deadline a little bit earlier. We're just a little bit late this year because the programme launched a little bit late in the academic cycle. So one of the questions we get from applicants at the moment is, how do I figure out whether there are potential supervisors that I might want to work with? We have a really big pool of supervisors. Currently, we have a list that's well in excess of 400 potential supervisors. They can be from any of the 6 hosting organizations. And in the final supervisory team, all students will have 2 or more supervisors that can be within one organization or multiple organizations. So we'd suggest at this point that you start by looking up supervisors' research interests on departmental and organizational websites. Remember that supervisors with relevant interests might work in quite a lot of different departments, perhaps not the most obvious department. Look at their recent publications and do make sure that there are a range of supervisors that you're interested in working with, because we can't guarantee, because of the processes in the program, that you will be able to work with a specific team on a specific project. You don't need to contact them in advance of applying, but you may want to do so if you want to learn more about their current interests. So this is a program that does offer funded studentships and scholarships. As I mentioned, we're hoping to recruit around 55 to 60 students in total, with about 25% being industry-linked projects. Our core studentships will be funded by BBSC or NERC, and that puts a restriction on who we can fund, in the sense that only 30% of those studentships can be allocated to international students. But we have other sources of funding that's also coming in through our partners, Oxford colleges, departments and research institutes. There are also particular scholarship schemes at Oxford, such as the Academic Futures Scheme, that target students from groups that are underrepresented in doctoral research. And we do consider integrated studentships where sort of students already hold a scholarship that would cover 100% of their fees and stipend. It is a competitive process. Some of the offers we made, because of the factors I just mentioned, may specify restrictions on research topic or host organization. If you have a highly competitive application, you may receive an unfunded offer and be considered for a competitive scholarship. So one of the things that we have, again, built up over the years of running programs is the importance of doing everything we can to support equity, equality, diversity, and inclusion in the program. So this means we try and run our admissions processes in as sort of fair and inclusive a way as possible. We try to build a community and support student well-being. We try to make sure that disabled students have reasonable adjustments, and we have specific networks for students, say from backgrounds that are underrepresented in research. We do our best to support students who have caring responsibilities and to support students on their journey into science through a program that span out of the DTC called Unique Plus that some of you may have participated in. And I've mentioned the academic feature scholarships. I'd also like to emphasize that we're very happy to receive applications from students who are returning to postgraduate study after a period doing sort of other things such as employment, or students who might for various reasons be interested in working part-time. So that's pretty much getting to the end of everything that I wanted to say in this initial presentation. I wanted to really sort of finish with what is really at the heart of our program, which is the students that we support and the success that they have within the program and beyond. And on this slide, I've just sort of highlighted a few of our previous students and what they've gone on to. Around the outside, you can see the range of things they're working on, everything from sort of climate and sort of flies and plant development, sort of bacteriophages. But you can see that many of them have gone on to be group leaders in their own right. Some of them are working in policy. A lot of them are working in data science these days, working in science communication, working in industry. So there's a vast sort of range of different careers that you can move on to from sort of participating in doctoral study.